Morning, everyone. I'm Simon Hampel. I'm the founder and the chief exec of Sarson and Light. Light being a program and a platform we've built, a tech platform, helping to bring presence back into your life. Let me just set some context as to me and why we're doing this. Listen, I'm a dad. I'm 55 with three small children, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So bringing presence into my life. And my journey's been unusual. I spent my 20s building businesses, and lucky me, it went well, and I lived all over the world. In my 30s, I lost those businesses, and that was very hard. So what was a good story became a difficult story, and I was very challenged. And then I spent the next 10 years leading charities, NGOs. I took scientists and aid workers into remote parts of the world and did aid work. Took a team across the Gobi Desert, over the Himalayas, down the Blue Nile, through the Amazon. Amazing. And then I ran an international NGO tackling needless blindness. Lived in hospitals in southern India and took this across Africa and Southeast Asia. So I moved into a sense of purpose, from being a leader to being a purposeful person. I understood I could do more with my leadership. And the last 10 years, up until recently, I was running an organisation, or partly running an organisation called Leaders Quest, trying to help build wise, compassionate leadership, thinking about that gap between our cleverness and our wisdom, which feels very important in today's life. And what am I now? I've gone back to being an entrepreneur. I've gone back to my roots, and I'm building Sarson and Light with a wonderful team, all of us together. And it's about being present. And I say that because, in a sense, I'm a stat that I should be very wary of. I'm a founder of an organisation with a young family. I'm probably overwhelmed and exhausted, and I've got all the challenges of building a business and raising money and finding clients and keeping the team together and running at 100 miles an hour all day and all night. And actually, I'm okay. I feel pretty good within myself, and I recognise that's not an accident. I've taken some time to get here. If I look back at my life on a charted view, and actually what I put it down to is being present, is being able to be here, because I noticed that when I can be present, I can connect to people in a different way, or I can connect to what's in front of me. It could be people, it could be a challenge or a situation. And of course, if you can do that and quieten that racing mind, crazy thoughts of the past and the future and my lists of to-dos and my anxieties and things I haven't got right and struggling to get the kids to bed, whatever's going on, actually, I create a bit of a space and a gap, because I quieten down. And if I create a space and a gap, I'm not using the energy I'll be using out in the past or the future. So I get energy, I get a bit of space. And I notice that with that, I feel much more resilient to life. My sense is that so many of us are overwhelmed. So many of us are running and running. We've got so much coming at us. How do we build resilience? How do we build that space? Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, talks about in between stimulus and response, there lies a gap, and in that gap is our growth and our freedom. For me, that's the gap, that space that opens up. Of course, once you feel resilient and a bit more spacious and like a sort of an expressive energy that comes into your body, actually, it also gives me a more creative feel. I feel I can find my intuition more because it's opening up for me. And I say all those things because I think that's really why Sarson Light exists. And my life's journey is now coming out like the tributaries of all those strange things I did have come together to form one river that feels appropriate for me now. And the reason I think presence has come into my life is because I've gone to practice. When I left the NGO tackling needless blindness, I happened to meet a Zen master Jesuit monk in the chocolate hills of southern India, and he taught me to meditate. Now listen, meditation is not for everyone, but I've been doing it for 14 years every day. I have a practice. I've built a habit. And that brings me into a place of awareness, reminds me when I'm not here to be here. As you can see on the slide on the side of me, we're trying very hard to recognize that there are many practices out there. Light exists to remind us why it's important to build a practice, why presence will help and equip us for the day in front of us, but also that there are so many different practices. I was recently with a senior leadership team in Paris, a big global tech company, and talking to them about this, about practice and presence. And one of the ladies there said, "Simon, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, I'm not sure I've got to practice, I'm never present." And we had a really good conversation. And then she suddenly stopped. She went, "Just a minute, when I cut carrots, I'm present. It's really fun. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I've not heard that as a practice. And she goes, no, honestly, I do that most days to come back into myself. And I said, well, there you are. Let's try and make this not a happy accident. Because so many of us find our present state, our creative, intuitive state, maybe if we're in the shower, if we're driving a car, if we're washing up, when actually we could bring it into our life if we were lucky enough to find something that we can repeat regularly that actually connects to us. And I say repeat regularly because there's lots of evidence. Development psychology talks about doing something for 8 weeks every day, 10 or 15 minutes a day. And if you do, you build a new neural network. You create a new root system. That's amazing. We can all do that. Leopards can change their spots. And that's what happened for me. I built a practice, and I've had it for, as I say, many years. And so with Sarsen and Light now, we are trying very hard. And we're working with companies all over the world. We're working with Accenture, with Google, with Pizza Hut in the UK, amazingly, with Cool Planet, a wonderful impact organisation based in Dublin and Ireland, tackling climate change. And all the time thinking about why is a practice important? How do we bring presence into our life? What is the practice that works for you? Personalise it. Make it relevant so you feel connected to doing it every day, and then helping build a habit. Because it's easy to say, be present, build a habit. But how do you do that? And it takes time and patience. And you've got to recognise you're going to get on the horse and you're going to fall off. And you're going to get on the horse and you're going to fall off. But if we can do it together, if we can do it in small groups, if we can build a platform as you have where we've got amazing wisdom and advice of some fantastic people I know, then you can lean into it and listen in your own time whilst also doing it together. And that's what we do. We take people on a journey over the course of a few months, and we encourage people to just try, because we recognise the huge difference. And that's what I encourage you all. I wonder who in this room has a practice or feels present. Who feels present now in this room? Well, there's a few hands going up. Nice to hear. And my sense is that it's been a gift for me. I recognise that. And it's sort of amazing because it doesn't judge what I do, it doesn't judge where I go in the world. It's just that I can use it across the breadth of my life. And that what I think is also important in what we're trying to do as human beings. We compartmentalise. I'll just do this in my work environment. I'll just do this in my family environment. I'll just do this with my friends. Actually, that's not who we are. Presence requires us to be everywhere. So thank you. And if you're interested, reach out. We'd love to have a conversation. We really are passionate about this. We believe in it. We recognise it works and it'll change your life. So please get in touch. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Simon. Questions? I have one. Actually, I would love to understand. I understand it's an app, right? Can you tell us a little bit like what it does?
Yeah, it's a program, and the app sort of underpins it. So the app has all this recorded content, visual and audio, from some amazing human beings that I've been lucky enough to meet over the years. Wise elders, not just some are very young, but feel old in their soul. And it's there as content, and we take you on a personalised pathway. So we try and understand a bit about who you are, try and find some practices that could be relevant to you, and then take you on a journey every other day so you can try and literally practice, build a habit. And then every week we bring people together to try and do it together. Because if you do it together, there's a sense of accountability, a sense of connection, and you feel actually part of a community. And that we know is also very helpful.
Thank you so much. Any other questions?
Thank you. Is it on? Okay. For the amazing work that you're doing. And I really love the personalized aspect so that everyone can pick what works. If they struggle with meditation, they can do something else. I'm curious, looking at the user data, what are the most popular practices that are perhaps most accessible for people and the best entry point for someone who wants to start with a mindfulness practice?
Ah, that's lovely. Thank you for that question. Gratitude is seemingly one that very many people are drawn to. We've got a lovely gentleman, Matt McCartney from the UK, he's one of the elders in Britain, who talks about gratitude and those small moments of gratitude that you can have in the day. And we find that is connecting to a lot of people. Breath work. There are many people who've tried breath work, many more who have breath work ahead of them. It's an amazing way of regulating your nervous system. It's also a way of calming, just channeling yourself down and preparing for whatever life is about to put in front of you. So breath work and gratitude. Tapping is quite an unusual thing. Emotional freedom therapy, it's how we regulate ourselves. And it sounds rather unusual, but it works. And we've noticed people, particularly with anxiety, that are drawn to tapping, or moments that they just need to sort of calm down. Many people tap to sleep, interestingly, just to clear their mind before they go down. So there's a bunch of unusual stuff alongside meditation. We've got a couple of fabulous swim dem crew who basically teach people to swim. And as they say, it's their meditation. They get out into the water and they swim together, and it's just an expression. And another guy who's a bird watcher, who says, I stand in nature, in a city, I look out and I connect. Beautiful.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. I already feel calmer actually just listening to you for 10 minutes. Ready for the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.